Alo, Payam. Ah, ses.
Hocam bir
Ah,
sesinizi
geliyor.
bir daha deneyebilir miyim?
Huh. Okay, can everybody hear me?
Siz konuşun hocam. Sizinki geliyor mu bakalım?
Yes, great.
Benimki geliyor mu?
That's
Tamam.
hi, Sarah. We had a
No,
minor breakdown. with this.
normal. That's normal.
How are you?
I'm doing good. And you?
Good.
Nice.
Sorry, there was a confusion with the time, but we
Yeah.
are waiting for people to enter.
Mm. Yeah, people who registered got the right time by mail.
Hi, Giuseppe.
Hi.
Hayır.
Hi.
Hello. Deniz bir gelsin. Şimdi mesela buraya girmek isteyenleri nereden göreceğim? Şurada çıkacak değil mi? Birileri admit için. Şurada yukarıda çıkacak. Ondan sonra
Şurada da çıkıyor.
konuşmak isteyen insanları şuraya gelip post yapacağım.
Ay,
Şeyde bu.
post.
Coffee break'ten sonra zaten. Partner
Hı hı.
presentation.
Hı hı.
Tamam.
Kendi
Tamam.
sesini kapatmak istersen şuradan
Hı hı.
açabilirsin.
Tamam. Bence gerek yok ya.
Payam hocam.
Ha, bence gerek yok. Paolo. Paolo.
Non sono in
Anche lei ha staccato
Giuseppe, stai andando da qualche parte in aeroplano? Ah, vedi?
Sì, sto andando a Milano.
Look at Paolo. He knows where people are going.
İşte bilmiyorum. Hi everyone, sorry for confusion. We will start very soon. I think there were two different times for the beginning, so we'll try to start very soon.
Good morning.
Hi,
Hi. Nice to meet you.
nice to meet you too.
Mi sentite? Yeah. Buongiorno a tutti. Fra 5 minuti penso incominciamo. Fra 5 minuti però. Ciao Gabriele, come va?
Buongiorno. Bene, grazie.
Can we have a little bit more volume? Just a little bit? Qualcuno può parlare per piacere?
Sì, salve.
Sì.
Dai,
Un po' di più,
Higher,
hai bisogno di volume. Ok,
continuate?
ci senti bene? Noi sentiamo
Noi
bene.
sentiamo.
Noi sentiamo bene.
Stess.
Ok,
Check
noi
D.
sentiamo bene.
Ok.
O maximum. Qualcuno può continuare a parlare?
Ma,
Sì, salve.
vai.
Test.
Test, test,
Ok.
prova.
Ok.
Ok.
Sì, va bene, grazie. Vai. Oh.
Forse queste non fanno rumore, Giuseppe. Ma un attimo.
Non si capisce niente. Tutti bene? Tutti bene. Ciao Sara, come va?
Allora, tutto a posto. Voi? Ma iniziate alle 11:30 perché hanno
Non sento
ricevuto
niente.
Ah, niente? Niente.
Dinlemiyorum. Onun problemi.
Provo a alzare. Non so.
Ses çok az geliyor. Sara, puoi parlare un pochettino
Sì,
per piacere?
però vi senti, vedi? Si sente? Non si sente? Magari sono... Non so se gli altri mi sentono bene. Giuseppe, che vi senti più o meno?
Un po' basso.
È
È
basso.
un po' basso, sì. Io dagli speaker qui non sento quasi niente quando parlate. Voi mi sentite bene?
Sì, bene. Bene. Il mio microfono è alto.
E si è rivolto verso no, perché questa qui la sto staccando perché fa mo. Ah,
Non la mia idea. Mira,
sentiamo.
Mm. Proviamo adesso.
this is
Meglio?
maximum?
Si sente? Proviamo.
Because
Adesso
can
va
you hear when
meglio?
they are talking? We cannot hear very much.
Noi sentiamo bene.
Ok.
Onlar beni çok iyi duyuyorlar ama ben çok az ses var.
Questa qui fa.
Fark etmiyor. Evet. Salon ses. Teşekkürler.
Bir de şu şeylerin mikrofonların aynısını da böyle kapatır mısın? Yayınları biraz baksana. Evet. Tamam. Salon sesini açtık biraz daha.
Qualcuno può dire qualcosa? Sara, dimmi qualcosa.
Qualcosa.
Biraz daha aşağı.
Si sente? Proviamo.
Salon sesini.
Multiplier event.
Aiuto.
7 persone collegate.
That's okay.
11. No, niente? Ah.
There's nobody coming.
Mhm.
Someone waiting room? Okay. There's one.
Are there anybody in the waiting?
Oh, vedi?
There's one.
Qualcuno arriva. Ma comunque hanno ricevuto l'avviso questa mattina che iniziava alle 11:30 ora italiana, quindi...
Ah,
Quindi-
no, questo non lo sapevo.
Sì, chi è registrato ha ricevuto stamattina che inizia alle 11:30 ora italiana, quindi meglio aspettare ancora 20 minuti prima di iniziare.
Sarah thinks that we should wait an extra 20 minutes because they got the only message this morning about the change of time. Aspettiamo.
No, aspettiamo
Io
un
non vado da
attimo.
nessuna parte, tu vai da qualche parte.
No, siamo qui. Vedo Juan Parra, ma gli altri mi sa che sono tutti di
Giuseppe in
Palermo.
aereo non può andare da nessuna parte, quindi
Sì, io sono di Palermo, siamo tra gli studenti di musica elettronica.
ah, io non sono esperto in quasi niente.
Neanche noi.
Ciao Sara.
Ciao Giuseppe.
Eccomi qua.
Juan,
Hi everyone.
how are
Hey,
you?
Sarah, long time.
Yeah, long time.
Yeah. Yeah,
Are
I
you
was a
still
little
in
bit,
Ghent?
yeah, still here. They don't let me out. I was there was a discrepancy between the email starting time and the schedule, so I assume that is in 15 minutes or so, correct?
Yes, well, yeah, that was the problem that, yes,
Okay.
indeed.
No problem. All right.
So probably
Looking
yes.
forward.
Buongiorno.
Buongiorno. Ok. Aspettiamo un altro quarto d'ora prima di iniziare.
Ne approfitto per dire una cosa, mi sentite?
Non si sente malissimo.
Ci sono, mi senti Sara?
Sì, no, credo che Giuseppe stesse parlando, ma si è bloccata l'immagine e si è bloccato il suono.
Però ho già dato ai colleghi.
Si sente disturbato.
È collegato dall'aereo. Mm.
Oh Paolo.
Abbiamo detto che iniziamo fra un quarto d'ora perché qualcuno si è collegato prima, appunto, credendo che fosse un'ora fa, insomma. Però la mail di stamattina diceva 1:30 e quindi 1:30.
Online siamo una decina, vero?
La maggior parte Palermo. C'è Juan Parra da Ghent. E mi sa che è l'unico esterno per il momento.
100 registrati abbiamo più o meno. Non si sente, c'è il microfono muto.
No, forse Paolo lo sa quanti registrati c'erano. Non lo so.
Sì, più o meno mi ha detto poi hanno una centinaia. Adesso vi sento benissimo. Voi mi sentite bene?
Sì,
Perfettamente.
sentiamo bene.
Sì, sentiamo.
Adesso va bene. Sì, si collegheranno fra un quarto d'ora perché la mail di stamattina diceva insomma un'ora dopo e quindi...
Va bene? No, io aspetto, non c'è problema. Oh là là. Sara, tu pensavi di incominciare all'1:30 o fra
Sì,
5 minuti?
No, fra un quarto d'ora perché le persone hanno ricevuto...
In 15 minutes. Se, però, ce la potrebbe fare, però. A fare il suo intervento anche alla fine, anche se l'aereo arriva più tardi. Penso di sì, sì. Finisce alle 16:40 l'ultimo. Quello di Nuno c'è su YouTube, giusto? Cos'è? Quello di Nuno lo vai tramite YouTube, giusto? Quello di Bruxelles, di Nuno. C'è il video su YouTube, giusto? Il video di YouTube? Sì, quello di Nuno di Bruxelles. Non lo so, caro. Ha mandato il link e tutto per organizzarsi. Ascolta.
Just gonna make
Allora.
presenters as host, so they can co-host and they will do it.
Allora, Raffaele, per il video,
Sì.
ogni persona che fa una presentazione lo facciamo host e lo può fare direttamente dal loro computer.
No, ma quello Nuno aveva mandato il link video a YouTube perché lui non c'è, non so se è in viaggio.
Okay,
Per
so
questo aveva mandato il link.
Raffaele says that he sent the video because he's not present, he's gone somewhere and he wants us to play the video.
Hello, everybody.
Hi.
Morning.
Hello, we just came here.
But he's there. Can you present the video? He's
Who?
going to speak now, right? Rafael alone, or you're talking?
No, some other dude.
Are you on mute?
No.
Remember the last email from Nuno.
I don't have it here.
Yes, he sent on
Questa è cibernetica. Si lavora con le linee.
Scusa Raffaele, di chi è il video?
Nuno.
There is no Rafael in present.
He sent an email on on Monday, the Monday 5th December. And there is the link to the YouTube video. But it's easy, just maybe recovering the email and launching the video at the moment, right? It's a bit less than 20 minutes, the video. It's very nice. I saw it. It's a nice video. È facile, Paolo, per voi recuperare.
Ti sta mandando un messaggio, Raffaele. Ti ha appena mandato un messaggio.
Però c'è l'email del 5 dicembre, è facile, c'è il link, basta che la recuperate l'email, poi
Aspetta
si
un
può
secondo,
mandare.
aspetta un secondo.
Sì, sì.
Hi, Rafael.
Hi.
Hi. Which video are you talking about? I don't understand.
And on 5th December, Nuno sent the link to the video, to the YouTube video, 20 minutes of
Your
video.
video.
No, Nuno video, Nuno.
Nuno's video. Oh, I see.
Yes, it's very nice.
Yes, the Nuno's video. Hold on. Bunu yapmamız lazım.
Nerede? E-mail nerede?
Evet. Bu.
Outlook'tan.
O zaten presenters'lar.
The email is on 5th December.
I know, I have it. I got confused with the people name, that's why.
Immagino possiamo dividere direttamente, giusto?
Payam, Did you find the link? Okay.
Yes, yes, we have it. When there's time for Nuno, we will show the video, no problem.
Very good. I have to say. Very good.
Sara,
Dimmi.
ma poi Stefan gli dice le due parole o no?
Sì, sì. Sì, sì. Si
A che ora è
collega
previsto?
quando è il suo momento. Tra
Nel-
3 ore.
negli interventi?
Sì, tra le 4:30 ora turca si connette, ha detto, se non sbaglio. Quindi tra 3 ore. Sì.
Prima
La-
dei greci. Io provo a condividere, Sara, vedi un po' che succede?
Sì, funziona.
Ma anche se metto lo schermo intero, vediamo? Cambia qualcosa?
Sì, presentazione a schermo intero.
Io non la vedo benissimo perché ci sono queste specie di,
Sì, sì, si
di
vede
banner
benissimo.
qua. Ci sono i richiami Zoom, le barre, le cose.
Le faccine, le persone le puoi spostare. Puoi anche ridurre.
Sì, sì.
Le altre cose no.
Spostare anche toglierle, no? Toglierle.
Toglierle
Ah,
no,
li
puoi
metta
metterle sul
d'icona,
lato. C'è icona sul
li
lato.
metta d'icona. Sì, ok, l'icona. E la barra grande sopra?
Mm,
Vabbè, quella non
no,
dà fastidio.
noi non la vediamo comunque, la vedi solo tu.
Sì, ok.
Do you think we should wait some more or shall we start? I think
2 minutes.
2 minutes.
Yeah. Really 30.
Abius. Ma siete in conservatorio?
Senti.
Sì, siamo in conservatorio.
con alcuni studenti.
La barra sparisce quando ci passi solo sopra.
Yeah, I put it on there.
E poi sarà, questo lo vediamo poi come prova, con le registrazioni.
Kaç kişi var?
Per le presenze.
Okay, it's 1:30. We have about 20,
Yes.
22 people. I think we can go ahead and
Yes,
start.
can start.
Yes.
We
So,
can start.
yes, we're starting. Hello, everyone. We are admitting some more people in the meantime. Welcome to our Musense project, first Multiplier event organized by Yaşar University, Izmir, Turkey. And I am one of the project coordinators. My name is Payam Suzani, and we have a bit condensed program for this afternoon for you. We will be starting with Mr. Rafael Longo, our project manager, and after that I will briefly talk about our project, and Paolo Suzani will be talking about the project results, our first output, and then we'll have a half an hour coffee break, and then we will continue with our partners' presentation in the afternoon. So Rafael, welcome.
Thank you so much, Payam. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for your presence. And my presentation will see briefly the rationale of the project, purposes, goals, vision, and also some insight on the contents, but just very brief. Musense Music Education, it's the cyber dimension. It's a youth-funded project in 2021 in the framework of the cooperation partnership. It's a national project. I mean, it's a cooperation project with several European partners, but the funding scheme is through Brussels, through the national agency, the Italian national agency. The applicant and coordinator was the Conservatorio Scarlatti of Palermo. Non scorrono. Okay, these are the partners, this consortium. We have Italy, Conservatorio Music Scarlatti, Belgium with the Flemish Royal Conservatoire and the European Association of Conservatoire, Greece with Corfu Union University, Sweden with Lund, the Academy of Music in Lund, and last but not least, our host, Yaşar University. We are also some, let's say, prestigious associated partners, Leipzig Opera and the Teatro Massimo Palermo, and two festivals, one from Italy, Armonia d'Arte in Calabria region, and Biartiv in Greece, Thessaloniki. Of course, the first full partner, the associated partner, brings to the project the expertise and experience, of course, not belonging to the budget scheme of the project. The budget is only for full partners. The project is 3 years long, started on January 2022 and will end on December 2024. The budget is a bit less than 400,000 euros. There are several priorities that transversal one, as you know, the European Commission have 5 priorities. One of these is the digital shift, digital transformation revolution. You can call it however you want. So, of course, the new world opened by the digital shift. And we have 2 sectorial priorities, stimulating innovative learning and teaching practice and supporting the digital capabilities of the music, in our case, higher education sector. These are some keywords of the project. Cyber, of course, digital, especially cyber, and we'll see just in a while briefly differences. Distance, not only teaching, learning, but especially performance, education, of course, and performance. Our artist music, performative music, and the digital shift. This is the vision, let's say much more a vision than a goal. We asked ourselves at the beginning, what will a bassist do in the 30 years? For example, classical for the bassist. Which we thought that in 30 years, the paradigm also for music, for classical music will be totally changed. And we have to provide the students, new generation, with competence and new skills just to take the new world that already started. So Musense acts at the paradigm level, trying to stimulating, of course, an innovative way of learning and teaching, but especially oriented towards the digital age, the cyber age. That a new world already started, but that will affect, impact profoundly, even in the music and artistic sector. After the COVID, all of us has experienced a new way just to be in the world, to be in the life, also to rethinking our position, our role as artists in the world. So, and in this case, in this sense, the digital dimension, the cyber dimension will play a crucial role. So to avoid to lose a generation of young artists, we need to provide the students, the new artists for the future with a new set of competences, skills, I say. And in this case, cyber and digital skills are crucial. That's why we thought and implemented the project. And this implies to rethink all, or even the traditional model of learning and teaching. We have, let's say, 3 categories of main goals of the project. The training dimension, with skills, competence, ability, expertise to be learned, to be reflected and shared with students, not only with students, also with colleagues, teachers, also with the governance, why not? And also to rethink the relation between the artist, the creator, and the audience. That means that the audience will be no longer only passive reception, but will participate, will join to the co-creation process, to the digital dimension. If not, we'll have also only a radio system, a radio with images. To avoid this, we need an immersive role, or even of the audiences, of the public, general public. This would lead to the 3rd main goal, also to change the mindset in productive and disseminating artistic form to the world. These are some of the expected outputs. Identify, of course, international model backed by literature reviews, with models, and best practices, lessons learned from other cyber activities. There are, especially the visual arts. There are some very interesting models and examples. Also to introduce in the curriculum of higher music higher education, new course model in cyber practice, cyber performance, with new set of skills and competencies, and also create an online repository, totally full free access, comprising several outputs produced by the projects. And at the end, there will be a set of guidelines, way of a kind of handbook, a manual on the new model, new practice created during the project. A more in-depth insight in the project results. We have 4 project results. The project results number 1 is about the literature review. It's a huge effort about collecting, accruing best practice from all over the world, not only for the music system, as I said, also for the visual arts that up to now experience a very interesting form of cyber performances. Also, this not only, of course, the literature review is the main goal, the main purpose of this, but also to produce some practical advice, some practical suggestion by writing a manual, handbook, organizing, but of course in the form of multimedia, not the traditional textbook. And one, let's say, geopolitical aspect, very important of the project results. One is the link to the Agenda for Sustainable Development, especially with all set of inclusivity. So this is, let's say, the political match with the policy, not only from the European Commission, even from the United Nations. This is very, very important because, as I said, as I stressed before, we are talking about the new role of the artist, of the musician in the world. Of course, the political dimension is unavoidable. This is the project result number 2, the repository. It's an online, let's say, traditional repository for the infrastructure. And it's oriented toward a very large public audiences, student, not only student, not only, let's say, the academic, the higher education actors, but even the policymaker, government, the cultural and creative industries, theater foundation, etc. Of course, there will be even some methodological guidelines in the repository, especially about the taxonomy architecture, the way to classify, to think before and then to classify, let's say, a meta methodology approach. And of course, the ethical requirements, the ethical approach is very important because we have to deal with the intellectual property rights that plays in our sector the crucial role. This is the project result number 3, is the core, let's say, of the project. So in the new course model, we have to consider, outline, and also implement, test, and evaluate the new course model. Of course, there will be a set of competence, new skills to be transferred, let's say, maybe to be shared with students and with colleagues, but even to rethink the new relation to the audiences, because the future, we think also the audience will play a different role as in the past. And our intention, our pattern is not merely to transfer from the analogical dimension to the digital dimension, the ritual of the concert, the performance, but to rethink the performance, to rethink the concept in the new dimension, totally different, totally new categories. Nobody of us knows at the moment what's enough, because we are acting within the framework of new paradigm. And when you are defining a new paradigm, you have no point of references. This is the real challenge of our project. Of course, there will be from the necessarily an interdisciplinary approach, not only music, high technology, cyber, social media, stating, especially also anthropology and sociology. We have set a kind of cooperation with some university department, especially in robotics and informatics, of course, because in the cyber dimension, we see that also robots will play an important role. We have two focus group, expert, of course, in IT, augmented and virtual reality, but also expert in aesthetics, as I said, anthropology, and new social media. The target group are students from different levels, bachelor, master, doctor. Last is the guideline, the manual, handbook. It's not a traditional handbook in form of multimedia. And the function of the guideline is try to push the institution, firstly, the partners of the project to adopt the new innovative frame form. It's like, let's say it's an obligation of the project, so to try to implement the new course model. We are talking about 14 weeks of course, not a full course, but just a short model to be implemented in the partner institution. After, we hope also to be widened to other music education. And then there is also a connection with the methodology with the learning lab. It's an intensive training that tries to mix traditional learning approach with new form. We see well, innovative form of learning. Of course, there are some technicalities in the multimedia guidelines, like the relation with the lived space, but especially there will be, of course, the outputs produced by the project, and in particular the emotional dimension of actors who took part in the project. The experience will be really, really interesting. Of course, there will be syllabus and bibliography. This is our first multiplier events. We have two multiplier events in the framework of the dissemination activity, the dissemination strategy, shall I say. And the first one actually is linked to the project result number 1, number 2. And the second one, the next year, will be in Corfu at Union University, linked to the project result 3 and 4. And the third one, towards the end of the project, will be a kind of huge recap of the project, also putting some seeds for the future, linked to the new paradigm, linked to the strategy, and especially to the philosophy of the project. The last one will share with truth, pep talk, keynotes, as far as I can imagine, linked to the disseminate, let's say, the philosophy of the project, the vision of the project. And we also have two learning, let's say, teaching and training activity. The first one is expected to be held in Brussels in April. The date is not established yet, and I put down some key words, some buzzwords also for C1 activity. Has to be equal, flexible, simple, to base error tolerant, we hope, and really practical hands-on. And the main aim of this is create a task force, let's say, within each university that will be the actor, the protagonist, the pilot, to implement the new mindset in cyber distance performance. And we use, of course, the topics will be the software, the cyber tools, also some special focus on virtual augmented reality, very technical. You see, there are lots of technicalities. Of course, the IPR issues, and a special focus also on the audience development, a new way to think about your public, your reference during your performance. Lastly, the C2, the second learning, teaching and training activity is about the technicalities on the cyber distance performance. And we share here traditional we'll mix traditional approach, classrooms, lecture, with new way of teaching. We also experience another approach like jigsaw model, cooperative learning environment, showed discussion group, teamwork, etc. Of course, here the crucial expected result is about boosting students' imagination and creativity. This is the real goal, the real purpose of this second training activity, to work at the imagination, creativity, communication of this new world that we hope is waiting for us in the next, let's say, 30 years. Thank you so much for your attention. Please, Payana.
Thank you, Rafael. Okay. Now I'm going to share my screen, and very briefly I'm going to talk about Musense, some similar information that Rafael talked about, but hopefully not the same. So music higher education means the cyber dimension, and briefly talk about Musense and then the survey, and today our multiplier event. As Rafael mentioned, I'm not going to read all our partners again. As you can see, Italy and Greece and Sweden, Belgium, us, AEC, wonderful group of people, coordinators. Briefly, the objectives of our project. Hold on just a second. So the main outcome will allow targeted groups to establish a new attitude towards the performance event and the audience. The project will approach digital technologies not just as a simple additional communication system, but will highlight how and in which way the introduction of technology transforms the music experience and the traditional aesthetic. Musense, therefore, is planning to create in music higher education actors, students, teachers, staff, governance, a unique mindset, revolution, able to knowingly act on the normal chain of art expression that has been around for centuries. So Musense will build a new curricula and best practices in digital technologies, virtual and augmented reality, referring to music, create innovative models in cyber and distance digital music performances, prepare students to deliver pilot blended live and distance performances involving audience despite the current health emergency, both in presence and remotely via IT. Raise partners' capacity to change at the same time to train the training practices and the dissemination of art forms. Create specific course module to update skills, competences, and know-how based on digital technologies, also capitalizing previous experiences and practices of former projects. Establishing international mobilities of artists, international blended mobilities, short training activities, and intensive projects able to promote new learning attitudes. And then strengthen sustainable future entrepreneurship opportunities throughout digital capacities. Project results, the first, identifying international models and best practices in innovative forms of cyber and distance performances, analysis and studies. Number two, shared online repository and Musense institutional website. Number three, course module, applied models in cyber performance. And finally, number four, guidelines and lab training. We have a survey that we created. We have been disseminating through the first time in the AEC Congress, and now it is uploaded on AEC's website as well as on our Musense project website. And we will be happy to share with all the participants today, send you the link to your emails. So if you will have some time to go ahead and fill it up for us, it will be very helpful. Our survey aims to collect feedback from all of you in order to develop plans, policies, and procedures for our projects. Then briefly, we have a nice website that later on during our partners presentations, Yannis will be talking about it in more details. And as you know, today, the new Frontiers in Music Performances, the first multiplier event that Yaşar University is organizing. The objectives of today is to present Project Results 1 and Project Results 2, test the target group's responses, satisfaction, and readiness to use the outputs, receive feedback and evaluation in view of the output's final improvement and the start of the testing phase. The event is preconditioned on prior peer internal evaluation of the output. The program briefly, as I told you, I'm going to cut it very soon, shortly, and Paolo will speak after me, and then we'll take a break. And then there will be the partners presentations, and then our Professor Dr. Yasin Azarslan presentation at 5, and then we'll end today, following by tomorrow morning, hopefully a stimulating roundtable discussion. After our event of today and tomorrow, Musense will organize the next one, which is called Cyber and Digital as New Perspectives in Music Performances. It's a training activity for teachers, and you're welcome to apply. We will present you the exact dates, but will be mostly sometime in March, and it will be organized by Koninklijk Conservatoire in Brussels, Belgium. Hope to see you all there in person or online, and thank you for your time. And I leave the floor to Paolo.
Right? Which one's? I don't know. That one? No, it's not a PDF. That's not. Enable the entity. Yeah. So it's all ready to go? Yeah. Can I enable the editing or not? Editing? Yeah. Yeah, here. Oh shit, what happened? Oh, great. Hold on a sec. Oh, great. There we go. Can we share that? There we go. Hello, everybody. Okay. I actually haven't had time to synthesize all the project results that everybody sent, because there is also very little preliminary materials to put together anything coherent. In my part of the output, which is T5, I have started and I've collected a considerable amount of information. I try to keep in line with everything that Raffaele was talking about earlier. What have I found so far? As defined by the project, my output is to discern local literature on need and related international literature on social aspects of blended distance performance in the creative industries. Because it is such a general definition, and I'm not a sociologist, I figured that, do I let them in here? Hold on. I figured that we should define the idea or the concept of social in the different parts of the makeup, because when you're talking about social, you're talking about the larger society, but then there are societies within the societies, and the whole virtual reality is touching each one of them in a different way. So I deal with social in three different ways: dealing with the greater society, that's just generally people in, and also their structure, because it's not enough just to define what the society is, it's also the dynamics within the society that are really important to understand. Social as it might occur in long distance performance, because in that area or in that realm, virtual reality is going to affect both the performer and the audience, and even the producers or the production of music, which goes anywhere from the individual composer to music that is being generated by AI. So that's a really difficult thing also to tackle. And three, as it relates to the creative industries. Around the creation of music, there is this so-called industry that itself is another society within the society, because everything that is created creates new jobs, that creates new positions, that create new titles, that create new relations between people. So the database that I am in the middle of making deals with these three aspects, and I had to break it down into the various aspects within the three aspects. So each of these might or might not contain subcategories, because these are the main categories. So if you see the one at the top, it says audience performer. It actually consists of two parts. There is the collection of material just for the audience side of it, and there is the collection of the material just for the performer side of it, because virtual reality is affecting both of them. And you can't just talk about it in general. So what I've done is exactly that. I've broken it down. I've broken down the social interaction in virtual reality, performance, and creative industries into these main fields: dissemination, growth, the effects within industry, infrastructure, new artistic experience, because that's a whole new aesthetic which is coming out, which nobody's ever heard of. Rehearsal platforms, which do now already exist, but are clearly going to be absorbed by virtual reality platforms, and the larger social implications, which can mean anything that lies outside of this for the greater good. So I also did, let me go back by one. So yeah, I just explained the production, because traditionally speaking, music consists of three stool legs. There is the audience, the receiver, the producer, which is the composer or whoever produces the music, and the performer. So everything works in relation to those three legs. What else? Blah, blah, blah. Okay, the collected materials are divided into media types, scholarly articles, websites, or web pages, and video. So if we go to the first one, hold on, people keep on walking in here. So if we talk about the audience performer experience, I think this one has just got to do, the archive looks exactly like this and is reproduced for each category. So you can just go, I'm not 100% sure how this is going to be hosted, if it's going to be hosted in the, what is it called, repository or not. I'm not 100% sure, but it'll be figured out. So you go on here and hopefully something happens. There you go. Is this being shared? No. This is not being shared. How fantastic. Sorry. Okay. Hold on a minute. Is it being shared? No. Hold on a minute, guys. Let me just pull this down. So each of the articles, just one more piece of explanation. Each of the articles is annotated. This is something I learned how to do when I was writing books on music research, on Bartók music research, that I had to do a research guide, which is the dinosaur version of a database. It came in paper form. Now everything comes in electronic form. But I did this so that anybody who's going to use this little database doesn't have to go and do all the reading. I did all the reading and all the viewing and all the listening, so that I tell you, it is not, I don't evaluate it on what I think it is worth. I present it only in terms of what it contains. I obviously do have a little bit of input, because if things are totally unrelated, I'm not going to put them in a database, because it just makes life very difficult. So, for example, this particular scholarly article deals with new music visualizer system that induces emotion to the audience, which is, there are some concepts here which sound very futuristic, and they are. I didn't even know this existed. It proposes a study to measure the psychological state of the user using electroencephalography, which is, you know, when they apply those little electrodes to your head and they try to read your reactions. So those are the kind of things that are going on in this realm, which are kind of shocking. But so how do I do this? I just want to share this with you so that you can see. I have to stop sharing and reshare everything. Yeah. Can't we just screen? Thank you. That's much easier. Yes. So there you are. So when you click on the link, this is what can I move this? This is, I can't move this.
You can move it from here.
Yeah. Thank you. There you go. There's your there is your article. There's more people coming in. Wow, lots of people are in. So that's that one. And then if you go to the web pages vary a lot, because some of them are aggregator news sites, which collect information in broad categories. Some of them collect them in broad categories. Some of them collect them in specifics. I try always to aim for the specifics, because it just narrows your searches down a lot. When they are generic, you have to go through all the categories and figure out, okay, what are these people speaking about? Some of them are pretty good. This one is pretty good, for example. Let's just go on this one here. And it's dedicated to the projection of how audience will become equal protagonists in future concerts. What now? What's this? Security. What do you mean security? It doesn't want to let me do it?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
It's a different server? Oh my God. We can always skip it. It's not a problem. We'll hit one that works. Don't worry. Ah, thank you.
No problem.
There you go. So yeah.
Hello,
This is
dear friends and colleagues. My name is Nuno Cernadas. I'm a pianist and researcher at the Koninklijk Conservatorium Brussels, and I'm the responsible person for the Musense project at the conservatory. Unfortunately, I cannot be with you today.
Okay, so I sent you a video. Okay. Where's mine? It disappeared? No,
Let me see.
it's this one.
Yeah.
Thank you. So there you go. This is what I was talking about, aggregator sites. Some of these sites are really fantastic because they cross-link with the materials that they present. And so you can get a whole bunch of information. Also, the aggregator sites, which you can become a member or you can subscribe to, can send you notifications, and you can find all kind of cross-linked material to support whatever research that you're doing. So can I get rid of this guy now? And where's mine? Where's my stuff? Oh, there. How do you do that? Yeah, it's pretty amazing. And now, this is the third. Can you come down? No, can I make this, push this down? How do I push this down?
Okay.
Great. Right.
Is it okay now?
Are we back? Yes. There's another person coming. Here we go. And then there's the video link. Also, this is. Can I? Okay. Can I put this like up here so that I don't have to? I can get easy access to. There you go. Excellent. So this, for example, is a fantastic video. If you want to know what it's like to live in this new virtual reality, this lady, oh my God, this lady, what?
One click is enough.
Where is it? Yeah. So this lady, she went into a hotel and locked herself away in a hotel and decided to live in a virtual reality by using a headset. And she went to work, she had meetings, she hung out with her new avatar friends and attended all kinds of shows. And if you want to know the results, you should go watch the video, because I think she kind of nearly lost her mind after 24 hours of purely virtual reality stuff. Can I, what?
You want to click on?
I want, wait, is it this one?
Yeah,
Oh
this
no,
one is the next.
this is the next one. Sorry,
This one.
I don't want, I want this one here. They haven't seen it yet. So here we go. And here it comes. Wow. Can I go? Yes. Why is everything so difficult? Oh, man. How long do I still have? What time does it start? I don't know. Why does it take so long to load? Can I refresh the page? Let's give it a shot. There we go. This one?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, we'll try it with another video because this one's not even loading. So can I stop share with this one? No,
No, you
just
just
click it off. Thank you. So as I said, this is the how the entire database is structured. What I aim to do is, once you have actually sent me all your materials, because this is my responsibility, the output. Once you've actually sent me all your materials, which I do believe are due now by March, or the beginning of March, the end of February, beginning of March. That's why I ask you if you can send them earlier, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw conclusions from all the things that I've discovered, and I'm going to synthesize them with all the things that you've discovered. But that takes quite a lot of time, because I'm not 100% sure what your side of it is. So in order to make a real report, I have to go through everything that you send me to, and it's a big job. That's why I would really appreciate it. The sooner you send your materials, the better it is also for me. So here we have exactly the same thing. I don't want to take up too much of your time. I would prefer to have you ask questions. This is the one that I did for dissemination. What is different about this one, you still have your scholarly articles that deal with the manner in which music reaches people, and vice versa, how people reach music, and makes a cross-cultural case so the dissemination may be done on a decentralized manner on a more local level. The reason for this is because the internet has been all about decentralization. And even though we like to talk about globalism all the time, what is actually happening in cyberspace is the exact opposite. On the one hand, you have everything becoming unified, but on the other, consumption of pretty much all materials happen on a local level, for now anyway. It might be one day that we all speak the same language, Esperanto, but until that time, things are digested and taken in different languages by different cultures, even by different regions within those different cultures. And people who are creating content understand that very well. And so they actually make local content so that it is consumed and it becomes commercially viable. There is no difference. So this is one such site. This is actually when I was talking to you about in the web pages that if I have, if I find platforms that actually do this, then I want you to be able to get to the platform because then you can see how they function. Because all of them have to do with virtual reality in one way or another. So let's click on this one. Is it on? Okay. Are we going to have the same problem every time? Really? Yeah. There you go. Allow cookies. Yeah. So there you are. This is the website, which if you decide to scroll through, you will find out that if you go to, where was it? I think the listeners, you will find that they have on their platform a number of artists, and the artists are actually local. A lot of them are local because even with music production, you have different levels of reach. The way that artists reach there, some of them, it's pretty much like happens with most things on YouTube, with most things on TikTok, with most things on Instagram. Some things go viral and then they become international. Most of them don't. Most of them remain on a local level, either very local. Some of them go national, some of them go international, and some of them go global. But that's pretty much with everything. But here you can actually discover that these platforms, there are platforms that serve all needs. So that's, I can get rid of it here. Great. What? Thank you. And then is this, well, there's more people. Hold on. What was different about this one? This one is actually a promotional video. It's an ad because dissemination also has to do with advertising. I don't want to show you the video, but it's an ad. There are also all kinds of different style of ads because all of this is really new. The way in which people are transmitting them or disseminating it varies a lot. They can have mainstream media advertising and dissemination, and they actually do it through the different social platforms, which is very effective. Or they just create YouTube videos and they make videos that are actually ads for whatever it is that they're advertising. So this one here is about growth. Growth is, I've also taken growth in two different categories. The technological growth, because this technology is developing at such a speed that it's even difficult to keep a track of. I suspect that by the time I finish making the database, all this information is going to become irrelevant because it's just moving at an incredible speed. So here I have the video that talks about, the technological and social growth, just are the two subcategories of this particular one. Wow. Lots of people coming in here. Then we have the effects on industry also broken down. I think this one has 3 categories. This one is this. Hold on a minute. Can't I just take this address, open YouTube, and punch this into YouTube? Shall we see what happens? Yeah. Hold on a second. Let's see if this happens again. Same thing. Can we? Should we give it a try? I can stop right now. No, you just let me know. We have 10 minutes left. Okay.
This thing on?
There you go.
Hey, I want to show you something real quick, but you're only going to see this once, so don't skip.
Yeah, don't skip. Okay. There you go.
As I sit recording this video, I'm sitting on a space station. Well, I'm not, but I could be. Just like I could be sitting in a beautiful Japanese garden or in a skiing lodge in the snowy Swiss Alps. And you could be too. You might be thinking to yourself, what the hell is he talking about? Has he gone mental? The answer is probably yes, probably. But just this time, I'm going to say no. What I'm talking about is this thing here, VR, and the huge rise of music in VR during the pandemic. Whilst we've been shut away in our homes over the last year and a half, the live music industry was left at a standstill. So just like the rest of the world, it had to adapt. But while I would say that this adaptation isn't a permanent replacement, with live music now returning somewhat close to its usual form in the UK, I believe music in VR is going to be something that's also not going to disappear straight away. If anything, it will grow even more and become somewhat of a sideline for music, an accompaniment, a second industry. With the growth of the digital universe in the form of cryptocurrencies, NFTs, metaverses, and so on, not only have we been treated to a growth in live music events in VR, even music production suites such as basic DAWs are starting to appear in VR, meaning that we can now interact with our music in the digital world on an even deeper level than before. And with huge companies currently investing in this new technology, this is only going to get bigger. But is it a gimmick, or is this thing actually really cool? And we should all give it a second thought. And how could it be improved? Let's jump in and take a look. First things first, this technology opens up a huge range of possibilities for where you can virtually transport yourself to in just a matter of seconds. In a time when it's been difficult to physically go out and enjoy live music, using the technology we have in order to somewhat enable that seems like a no-brainer. With artists as popular as Billie Eilish, undoubtedly one of the biggest names in pop music right now, performing live in VR on the Horizon Venues app, an app designed solely for live, real-time VR concerts, it's certainly going to get the attention of many listeners, viewers, visitors, whatever you want to call them. With tickets being paid for these VR events with real money, this opens up the question, is now a good time for you to get into this new and growing market? With events booked on Venues VR for almost every day for the next year, it's already a massively popular platform. It's got the financial force of Facebook behind it to promote it, so getting your name and thus your music onto a platform like this seems to be a pretty great idea for promoting your personal brand. Whilst it's currently a fairly limited opening for shows and getting places to perform, in the future, this could grow massively, or alternative brands could start alongside Horizon Venues offering a similar service, meaning your stage is bigger than ever before. A few smaller alternatives do already exist, such as Altspace VR with their open mic nights and performances. Pretty cool stuff. Also, if you're not quite at the stage where you could sell out 1,000 capacity venue in person, utilizing the marketing power of a platform such as Horizon Venues or Altspace could mean that your reach is massively widened. There may not be 1,000 people in your local area who will attend your show, but the target market, if it's increased to millions, well, that expands your reach significantly, pushing ticket sales up, meaning you earn more from your shows. But is it quite the same thing? Well, no, it's not. Nothing will beat the feeling of physically being at a venue with the bass pounding your chest and 1,000 eyes staring at you on stage. Can that be emulated? Kind of. At least sonically, you can get pretty close. You may have seen our video.
Anyway, you get the idea. So all of these videos, I've watched all of these videos, and there are many more to be watched. I give you the general idea of the content of the video so that you don't have to, unless you're looking for something very specific, you can just look at the description and you know what the video is about. That's why I make all the annotations for all the things. Yeah, so that's it. Then I have it for infrastructure, same thing. This is for the new artistic experience and for rehearsal platforms and for, that's it. I think the last one is what? The social implications themselves. Like I said, right now, I have, I don't know, maybe 200 items, and I suspect that by the time I'm done, it'll be double or triple that number. Like I said, it's very difficult to draw any conclusions right now, also because the space is so young. It is difficult to distill materials. There is no review of any kind. Everybody here is an expert, and it's very difficult to tell on the internet, very, very difficult to tell what is true and what is not true. There is a lot of speculation, and it's very difficult to base any kind of research on speculative materials. But it is extremely exciting because I think that that is what is going to come. So if you have any questions, please shoot. That was easy. No? No questions? Oh.
Yes, we have a question. There is a request of comment from Joan Parra.
What? Oh, thanks. What's he saying? He's about to make comment.
Hi, sorry.
Awesome. Go.
Hi. Yeah, well, I'm staring at your presentation, so yeah, it is a big number of people. Let me see if I can get out, or maybe you can stop sharing your screen. Fantastic. Thank you. Yeah, sorry, and I'm apologizing in advance if I'm exposing my outsider nature to the project from the get-go, but I just have a general question or a remark in terms of the not criticizing the quality of your work, but since the project in general is initiated and funding higher education initiatives, wouldn't be instrumental to find in this large kind of attempt to be a curated Google search engine about all things VR and all things music and the cyberspace a little bit more curatorial in that respect? I mean, it seems to me that the huge enterprise ahead of something like this in terms of numbers doesn't really help to focus finding what are the initiatives that can be transferred to the needs of higher education institutions that are focusing with music performance.
Wow, that was a long. Do you think you could narrow that down a little bit, like to a simpler kind of question?
Yeah, absolutely. Why would you be the Google search engine for a very general topic and lose the expertise that you could provide by actually being the curator of things that are instrumental or useful for a project that is focused on the implementation of the cyberspace in higher music education?
Well, because, in the higher education, everything that I am collecting is completely applicable to higher education because all of that is geared as well. Higher education would only be one branch, and performance is essential to music education. And as I understand it, this first output is a general, as directed, is a general, how can I say this? As a general state, a description of the general present state of what is available and what is not available, and easy access for people who are wanting to do some kind of research. If you would like to start an entire server dedicated to it, be my guest. I don't know how to do those things because I'm not a technician.
I'm advocating for the opposite, that you own your expertise and that you act as an active filter on what things are actually, I mean, I don't know, the TechCrunch article, the experience of what is the name of the Washington Spot journal. There's a lot of stuff that is noise, and especially during COVID, a lot of noise was created from scholarly articles where every institution felt the need to start writing about cyberspace and COVID. And I think that what is necessary now is to be more proactive in filtering things out and focusing on the things that are useful in what is transferable to the needs of conservatories, for example.
Yes, I have to tell you, first of all, I don't think I am qualified to actually, I am qualified to evaluate qualitatively certain things as I understand them, because I'm a philosophy minor, so I can think my way through certain things. But if you're talking about being an expert in all of these fields and putting your stamp of approval on something that is going to be published, of which you don't know very much, is a very, very dangerous exposition, or it's a very difficult thing to do. Also because, like I said, the internet is a dangerous place in terms of knowledge. And that is, there is very little that is peer reviewed. There is very, like you said, everybody has something to say. The question is, how do you filter out what's true and what's not true? For that, you need specialists in each field to be able to do it. But this project does not contain such specialists. Like, I'm not a sociologist, but I was asked to do a certain thing about the social effects of stuff. So what I can do is, I can go on my common sense and my logic. I can't go on my expertise of sociology because I'm not a sociologist. You would have to get people who are sociologists to take care of that aspect. But we're all basically musicians, are we not? The vast majority of us are musicians. So who is a musician to actually evaluate sociological materials? That's why I present this in pretty much the same way as I did when I collected very specific. And there I was an expert. But even being an expert in the music of Bela Bartok, you have to present all the material. There is a small lot of it which is really good. The majority of it, even though it is peer-reviewed, even though it is filtered an amount of times, a lot of it is not very good. And that I have an experience with, having been the review board for the material that was incoming. And the person who originally wrote the first edition of the book said, you have to include everything, because it is up to the researcher, just as you do research when you're going to write, I don't know, a PhD thesis. You have to sit there and filter out what information is actually relevant and you know, quality information, so that you can actually pass it on to the next generation. That's your responsibility. Mine, I would love to be a curator, but I'm really not qualified in certain things. I can qualify. For that which deals with, for example, musical aesthetics. I could deal with that. The invention of new musical instruments, I can deal with that. I can deal with a whole bunch of things that are strictly musical, but for the rest of the stuff, you know, unless we got together a bunch of people within this project who have good knowledge of something, we can do it to a certain level, but I don't think we can do it to a specialist level. You're absolutely right in asking that question. I hope that I've given you at least a partial answer.
Yeah. I mean, let me just to finalize, not in a critical note. I think that I'll put it in a positive spin. My comment is that perhaps the categories that you have selected are a much more relevant work moving forward than the endless categorization of examples of things like that.
Ron, if I'm the first person, and I'm very happy when somebody criticizes something, because if you have no input from outside, it's very difficult to live in your own little bubble. So if you have suggestions, just write to me. I'd be very happy to sit down and discuss anything with you. No problem. I'd be more than happy if other people have ideas as well, because we're all working pretty much in isolated little groups. And if anybody has inputs about anything, I welcome, because sometimes when I sit down and I start looking at the stuff and I go, wait, what do I know about this? Nothing. It's a little difficult. What's he showing? Money? Is that money? Is that money? Ah, coffee. Coffee break, everybody. See you in half an hour. Bye. Yeah.
Performance. So yes, as I said, it runs on different platforms, and there are some specific needs, pretty normal. For example, it needs a fast 5G speed connection, and an Ethernet cable. It doesn't work properly with Wi-Fi. And as I said before, a dedicated dongle that can be purchased for very cheap. What are the pros and cons that I found in person? Because I tried the software with a student of mine, and we recorded actually a performance that I'm gonna show you in a moment. So the pros, very interesting, are very low latency, great sound stability. So there are no jitter, no sound artifacts, or no sound interruption, very affordable price. There are no monthly payments so far, so you only pay the dongle, and this is because it's a beta phase. It might be switched into a kind of subscription model in the future when the software will be more stable. It's very simple to use. It's multi-platform. In fact, it runs on Mac, Windows, and iPad and iPhone. What are the cons? It only play in mono signal, no stereo up to date, because we know the mono signal is lighter to be kind of transmitted online. There is no panning function, so you cannot switch from left to right, so you cannot mix the performance of your partners. And there is no video support. No effects like reverb, EQ, compressor. The sound quality is not good. What does it mean? It's very compressed. It's like a very low MP3, but still it's very, very useful and manageable in terms of a real-time performance. So in general, I would say I had a very pleasant experience, and I was able to perform with no latency. So in a very musical way, as I will show you in a moment. So the showcase that I'm going to show you is something like that. So I was in Milan, and my student was in Palermo. So we had a distance of 1,500 kilometers, more or less. And still, we were able to get a very good performance with no latency, no jitter, or audio artifacts. So the performance, see me on a keyboard playing the virtual drums, and my student, Davide Campione, playing the piano part. Okay, so let me try to show you the video. It's gonna be a little bit laggish and kind of not very fluent. It's not because of the video, but probably because of the streaming of Zoom. So if you have time, if you want to see that on your own, there is the link, and it's also on the Drive folder. But just for now, let me show you the video.
Hi, Giuseppe, we cannot hear the video audio.
Okay, sorry, yeah, that's what I thought. Maybe Giuseppe Rapisarda, if he can share, yeah, that would be better. I knew because I'm on a phone. Yeah, okay.
Okay, so this is the setup for the app Music. It runs on iPad, and I need a dongle with the power and Ethernet cable connected through USB. And then this is the app. I can select and choose the volume of my sound, and I have also the volume of my musician, the partner who is going to play with me. And then I need a dongle that I can buy on the website for very cheap, for 10 bucks. And so this is the mini jack connection. I have the connection for my headphones, and this is the instrumental input, so I can use a guitar, a jack, a bass, or a microphone, or for example in this case I'm using the output of my computer, where I have a virtual drum kit, so I get the signal from this cable into the dongle. In fact, I'm using this setup on Logic Pro. I have a simple drum kit, and I'm playing that via MIDI with my keyboard. So the signal goes from here to the dongle. Okay, so let me show you how the session works quickly. I can create a virtual room, and I can send the link of my virtual room, the address, as you can see, via email or WhatsApp or whatever. And then I can also press this button, which is the push to talk, and that led me to use my microphone and just talk with my fellow musicians.
Okay. Yeah, so that was my presentation. I think I was reading a couple of questions. Am I able to answer quickly to those couple of questions? So I think Maria asked me if we can use also acoustic instruments. Yes, of course, because the only need is one microphone or any kind of audio input. So it can be like the output of a computer or a, I don't know, electric guitar, electric bass, or microphone. And yes, the white cable was the audio input inside the dongle. So it was the audio output from the headphones of the computer, and it was going inside the iPad. Okay, so it's a peer-to-peer. So I don't have to connect to any server. I create my own kind of performance room, which is private, and anybody can connect to my virtual rehearsal room. I just send the link via email or WhatsApp or any kind of other mobile device. Yeah, it's peer-to-peer. Mm-hmm. It's not like Jamulus, for example, where you have to connect to some pre-existing server. So it's very kind of private.
Thank you, Giuseppe. Any other questions?
I don't think it's limited to one-to-one. I think many people can join. I don't know Sonobus very well. I know Jem Kazam, I know Jamulus and this platform, but it's not one-to-one. The advantage, I don't know Sonobus very much, but the advantage is, to my experience, it's very cheap. It doesn't have any latency of artifact, so it's very smooth. I mean, it's a small Italian project, so I wanted to give a shot. I was just curious about this Italian project. It has limitations, mono, you cannot mix, you cannot add any kind of reverb or whatever, because it's in a beta phase still. Oh yeah, I will definitely check Sonobus. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you. So I think we should go on. Thank you very much, Giuseppe, for the presentation. So can we maybe directly go to Fabio? Did you want to add something? You had also the presentation after Giuseppe, if you like.
Microfono andato? Okay. Welcome everybody. I have the pleasure to present to you a staged performance during the opening night of the International Rostrum of Composers in Conservatoire of Palermo in 2017. ICARO, ISCARO, Interactive Computer Architecture, Architecture for Robot and Orchestra. It was an interactive show and research project with an interdisciplinary approach about music, emotion, and artificial intelligence. The research was born as collaboration among the Conservatoire, the university, and the Fine Arts Academy. It can be a good start for future perspective and new innovative performances. In this slide, the project is about conveying the audience emotion through humanoid robot gesture to an orchestra during a live musical exhibition. It was realized through the mixture of electronic and instrumental music, the assistance of artificial intelligence, and the synchronized video mapping session. As can you see in this slide, there are the steps followed to make up the project. Spectators with a mobile application who shows 4 colors: artificial intelligence, electronic music system, and finally robot now. Andiamo alla seconda. A smartphone application allows the audience to interact with the show that evolves accordingly. Each color means an emotion. Every performance is unique. According with Russell's circumflex, this is a coaxial system that divides the space in 4 squares. Each square shows an emotion connected to a color. So red means anger, yellow happiness, green whiteness, and blue sadness. The horizontal axis from left to right shows a range from negativity to positivity. The vertical axis from the bottom to the top show the dynamic intensity of the emotion. So in blue square, unhappy is more dynamic than tired and is more negative than tired. Possiamo andare. According with the audience preference, the artificial intelligence informed the electronic music system and the robot. The robot, like a conductor, communicates the choice to the instrumental ensemble, so the musicians play the corresponding score. Now make an interaction with the ensemble through hand gesture. Every sign matches to a color. 4 scores related to each color will be played with different instrumental ensemble to avoid repetition. In this way, we'll have different combinations in the same color as follows: A, only electronic; B, piano, percussion, and electronic; C, viola, cello, percussion, electronic; D, all string electronic; E, all instrument. Furthermore, in the same score will be used different electronic music. We can see its element: object, wood, polyester, glass, plastic, recording human voice, time stretching, granular and additive synthesis, and software, Ableton, Logic, and so on. In the show of October 2017, Icaro had 19 users among the audience that collected 6,053 preferences. This project will increase the audience by the use via IT, by the use of streaming, and it can be a good start for future perspective. In particular, in agreement with Professor Kella, teaching robotic engineering at the University of Palermo, with Maestro Betta, supervisor at the Teatro Massimo, and I, as conductor, are planning to realize a new project with another more advanced robot. Hopefully, it could be staged in the foyer of the Teatro Massimo next year. Now, a short trailer will give you more detail on Ingaro. Thanks for your attention.
Thank you very much. If there are any questions.
Vediamo.
We can, I can,
vediamo.
We can see a video trailer.
Sì.
Buonasera e benvenuti. Io sono Laura.
Okay.
Okay.
Any questions?
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Okay, so if there are no questions, some minor changes, as I said, we will continue. There is one question from Juan Parra.
Sì, okay, the audience receive before the performance only the instruction to select 4 colors, and the audience is informed that each color is connected with an emotion. Simple is very simple.
Oh, maybe there was a question, but I don't remember. I think the question was collected by the programmers, the engineers.
Sì.
I don't remember the content of the questionnaire.
Okay, thank you. I think Juan wanted to ask a question. Did I read it correctly? Okay, so that's done. So
Okay.
any more questions? Otherwise, we will continue with Nuno Cernadas' video, who unfortunately is not here to present, but he shared it with us and we will be...
Sorry, Payam. There is also a question from Juan Parra. I hope
But
it's
that's
finished.
why I asked him, but I think he wrote it.
Yes, there is for general question would be if there is plan transferability from artistic production to education for such project.
Not now, maybe in the future.
Okay.
Okay, so now we will be moving to Brussels.
Hello, dear friends and colleagues. My name is Nuno Cernadas. I'm a pianist and researcher at the Koninklijk Conservatorium Brussels, and I'm the responsible person for the Musense project at the conservatory. Unfortunately, I cannot be with you today, but in any case, I recorded this message to let you know of the progress the conservatory has made in the frame of the Musense project. One of the main difficulties of researching, reflecting, and expanding on the convergence between cyber and music, as proposed by the Musense project, is the notion of cyber itself. What is cyber, and what are we talking about when we talk about cyber? This prefix has been used profusely since the start of the digital age, very often with the conscious goal of making the resulting term sound futuristic and innovative. According to an early article in 1951, cybernetics, from which the prefix cyber can be derived, can be defined as the study of circular causal and feedback mechanisms in biological and social systems. Since the start of the digital age, the concept of all things cyber has developed and morphed substantially, paralleling the evolution of existing technologies. It has subsequently disassociated itself exclusively to the field of cybernetics to become a broad umbrella concept under which every aspect of digital reality can be covered. Cyber art is understood as any art form which is produced with the use of computer software or hardware, often having a focus on interactivity and mutability. Today's cyber art is an extremely vibrant and broad field of artistic production, and with the ubiquitous use of the computer in daily life, almost every artistic activity which is technology dependent falls into the cyber category. It is therefore evident and natural that cyber art would bring to the forefront to collective consciousness the very nature of the technologies on which it relies, and to enlighten and problematize the challenges that the pervasiveness of these technologies poses on the present and future of modern civilization. Today's cyber art subject matter is made of the very same issues with which digital societies grapple, be it climate change, the development of AIs, questions of genetics and biology, digital ethics, racial and gender identities, just to mention a few. In our present society, where digital and technology is quite literally omnipresent and omniscient, and where digital proficiency increasingly translates into geopolitical domination, reality itself is the realm of cyber art. How do we then, as researchers, position the attitudes of music higher education institutions in the context of the digital revolution? How can music practice and cyber interact? To have a better glimpse on the way that digitization might be integrated into music performance, one can and perhaps should turn to other artistic areas where this attitude is already the normative one. Naturally, the field of contemporary music and composition, especially of electronic music, is one which has always integrated in its praxis the contemporary technological state of the art. But other emerging artistic fields, such as computer animation, artificial intelligence art, sound art, bioart, which by nature have a much greater degree of technological integration and interdependence than that of traditional classical music performance, might provide us with deep insights and inspiration on how a future modern musical performance, even of Beethoven's music, might look or sound like. There are plenty of publications, conferences, and festivals that deal with the problematic of the convergence of art and technology. But we will at the present limit ourselves to two examples which have attained a referential status worldwide. That of Ars Electronica, a Linz-based festival in Austria since 1979, with an annual Ars Electronica Prix since its 1987 edition, and the Starts Prize, sponsored by the European Commission, recognizing innovative projects at the nexus between science, technology, and the arts. The artistic projects recognized by either Ars Electronica or by the Starts Prize are truly cutting-edge and future-looking, not only in their performance and deployment, but also in their conceptualization and in the way they raise meaningful questions or provide insights into our present and future. Besides case studies arising from these two important events, we have also included examples from OM, a Brussels-based production company curating and producing installations, performances, and events, bringing artists, scientists, technologists, and researchers together to create new paths for scientific mediation through the arts. Lastly, we include an example of AI, which is already a powerful tool in artistic creation, but whose future potentialities are beyond envisioning. Specifically, in the case of Midjourney, an AI creating images from a human text prompt, its groundbreaking technology is proving to be a remarkable advancement in AI, opening the doors to countless possibilities and uncertainties for future applications. By adopting these case studies, by exposing ourselves to their attitude and their modern positioning, their innovative ideas and techniques, we can certainly emerge reinvigorated with the possibilities that the future holds for a modern realization of art in general and of music in particular. Thank you. When visiting the website wikipiano.net, everybody can see the current state of the piece and make alterations. The website allows the visitor to place media content, comments, audio, and pictures in the piece, but also provides tools for traditional score editing. When a performer decides to play the piece in a concert,
Did we lose audio?
Okay, I think I accidentally stopped sharing, but I'm afraid that we're running a bit out of time. So
Would you like me to continue with my presentation or questions?
sorry.
Would you like me to continue with my presentation? It's Yanis Delianis from Corfu.
Yanis, I cannot hear you exactly what you're saying. Sorry.
If you need me to continue the presentation, can you hear me?
Yes, now I can hear you.
Okay.
We still have 8 minutes for the presentation that we can, I guess we can finish. And then sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, I think there was a problem with the audio. Okay, we will end dear Nuno's presentation. Unfortunately, he's not here to get the questions. You can still write it in the chat if you like. I'll be happy to forward your questions to him. And now we can continue with Yannis. Hi, Yannis.
Hello, thank you very much.
Whenever you would like to start.
I will just share my presentation directly for you. Okay. Can you see it? Okay. So, can you see it? Is it clear? Can you hear me as well?
Yes, we can hear you. We can see your presentation.
Excellent. So, hello from Corfu. I'm going to talk about the technological aspects of this project, of the infrastructure that we're building in order to house all the information that is going to be needed. So we're together in Corfu with Professor Yannis Toulis, who is going to have another presentation right after this. So I'm going to talk about I'm a computer scientist, so I'm going to working on a department for audiovisual arts. So pretty much the problems that we encounter in this project, we have seen them before. So this is going to be our, I'm going to make an introduction about what we need to do. And our research focuses on the following questions that are part of the project proposal that focus on how the technological revolution will impact and affect the music sector, and the pedagogical, didactical implication of the short and long term. Raffaello talked about all of these in his presentation. All the answers that we have about the lockdown technologies and methods that were actually implemented, good or bad, and the cyber practices that have changed the artistic object and how curricula are adapting and responding to it. And of course, in which way the traditional relation between music performer and audience has changed. These are very philosophical questions, of course, but they have to be they have to get and become materialized into something that we can touch our hands on. And the general idea here is that if I see somebody doing it, I need to be able to do it by myself. So let's see how this is actually implemented. First of all, we have a website and the repository. These are two different things, but they're going to be integrated. They're going to look like one. I'm starting with a website, which is really for the dissemination of the information about the project. Sorry for this. I'm going down. Okay, here. So most of you have seen the website. Is we used it to register. It is fully functional. And also the website has a number of sections that I'm going to explain to everybody how they work. We're trying to build the community through the website as well, so that people will be able to find us. So something got stuck on my computer.
Excuse me, Yannis, are you sharing your screen or any
yes,
slides?
I'm doing it again if it doesn't work. Sorry for this, because it's a website.
Oh.
Okay, it just got stuck. Sorry. Yes. Can you see it now? I'm sharing again.
I can see. We can see you now.
Okay, good. That's a start. But I'm sharing it again, and I optimize it for video clips. So okay. You see it now? Okay. So I'm going to go directly to the website. So this is really, I'm not posting the, it's probably because when I put it full screen, it loses the window because it makes a new one. So I'm going to see it from here. This is the website I was talking about, and we're going to go to the websites with different sections. These are the sections that talk about the project, which is the landing page, what the project is about, and also we have a number of selected the latest case studies that will appear when we have them available. We have the list of partners so that somebody will be interested in the project can communicate with the partners on find the information of who we are. The results will be posted in this section. We have also the reports and findings of the project when those will be available. The repository, this is going to be the main access area for the repository. It's going to load another website that we are building at the moment. And the repository is going to provide a searchable directory that allows users to search and implement their case studies. I'm going to present this information right after the website on how it works. And also activities, things that that we do and need to be published for everybody. And the news, we have integrated the platform so that anybody can take the link of the news and post it on their social media. It doesn't matter what it is. If it is for Facebook, Instagram, everything, it will be posted directly. You can try it if you want. It has the metadata. And also contact information that goes to the lead partner, that is Raffaello, will receive this. And actually, Raffaello as a manager. And then we're going to go to the login section where we have the ability to have some internal communication and post documents and everything else. So, but the important thing is not the website, it's really the repository and how we do things. And this will answer the questions that were said earlier of how we are actually going to represent all the information that is going to be found by the project. So we will have a searchable repository, which is currently under development. But why do we need a repository? If you see on the right, you see that the task is to create an online repository in form of an open platform by organizing all expected results in an easy to be accessed organic form by the actors and stakeholders. The repository then is going to enable users to view and try different teaching performative scenarios using state-of-the-art technologies. So first, we need for the repository to work to collect the data. The data, the content, is collected in forms or can be entered directly by partners in the repository. This is the intended way to do it. At the beginning, in order to start it, we set out the first forms by Yannis Toulis, and they were asking about infrastructure. In those forms, we were trying to identify from the partner institutions if they have dedicated laboratories, technicians, human resources, spaces, cyber remote working places, network internet facilities, hardware equipment and software-based facilities and remarks for things that were not included already. So we're trying to collect the information and we're trying to represent it digitally. So when somebody has a case study, we today saw two case studies. One with a broadcasting medium that we saw before, and another case study. So we may encounter a lot of case studies. How do we actually represent them? So our idea is that we need to separate each activity, each case study, to its main components, because these components can be reused. So we can have the teaching content or the performance content. If it is a video, if it is a process or something like that, we can have the technological infrastructure, which is going to be another category. Which hardware was used, which software, which system setup, which space setup was used, and which was the methodology used. And this goes more towards the teaching aspects. So I'm going to give you an example. So with a cello case study. So let's say that we have an example where we're trying to teach cello using 360 cameras. There are two cameras, one at the teacher, one at the student. So if we're trying to teach content, to teach something, the teaching content is going to be practicing a specific musical score, because some content may be appropriate for a use, some other content may not be appropriate for that use. The technology, we're using 2x6 364K wireless cameras. We're using some old cameras, the Samsung 360 for those that know. One at its end, one at the professor, one at the student end. Wireless network, 5G Samsung mobile phones that are compatible for broadcasting and receiving the other end's broadcast. And both professors are using VR enclosures for viewing through the phone the broadcast of the other person. So they're communicating using their phones on a VR 360 environment. And we have a minimum of 50 Mbps transfer rate for that case. So, so what happens is that the methodology, the teacher plays a segment of the score, the student observes freely through the 360 broadcast the fingers and teacher's technique, so that we place the camera very close to the cello so they can see the technique. And then we do the opposite thing, which is really the student is asked to perform, and the teacher observes the student evolving the technique and provides guidance. So it is series-based, turn-based order, and we repeat the process until satisfactory results are obtained through that practice session. So this is a case study that we try to be able to implement, and all the other case studies we had today, they can be actually represented using this information here. We have the teaching content, the performance content, the technological infrastructure, and the methodology. So, in general, we're going to have a number of teaching performance scenarios, some technologies that are going to be used, and another number of methodologies that are free from each other, and we can evaluate if one fits with the other and why. So we have actually a tool that says that I want to teach this lesson with this technology and this methodology, or I want to perform using exactly the same material. So we can pick and mix. So when a new technology appears, we will be able to add a new technology into our spectrum. So, and this is exactly what I described down here. And we can make new scenarios, or we can reuse technologies. So in conclusion, using this methodology, we will be able to answer the questions or include the answers from our research within the repository. So I'm not going to go through this, but I'm going to say in general that it answers the how the technological revolution will affect the music sector, and in which way performing cyber practices have changed artistic object and how curricula, skills, training responded to it. It is a way that really enables us to separate the content from technology, from methodology, and combine it into new ways. So if you have any questions, I'm here for you to receive them. I'm going to stop the sharing.
Thank you, Yanis. Thank you very much. I think Paolo has a question.
I don't have a question. I just want to tell you, I think that is outstanding work, Yanis. It's really wonderful.
Thank you. I'm glad you like it, because it's a way to really materialize everything. So if something looks like a case study we cannot actually use at the moment, it doesn't matter. We can add the technology there from your research, and we'll stay there until we have the opportunity to do it. Okay.
Really nice.
Okay, is the microphone on?
Yes.
Okay, so thanks, Yanis. Any other questions? I just received a message from our dear colleague, other Yanis from Corfu. He has a problem with the computer, he says, so he just sent me his presentation, and we will try to share it here for him. Yanis, can you hear me?
Here. Yes. Hello, everybody.
Hi. We're going to try to share your presentation now.
Thank you very much. Okay, the computers are getting crazy always in the wrong moment. This is something that that we have always to take into account. I apologize for this discrepancy. So, but I hope you can hear me well now. First of all, good afternoon, everybody. So happy to be with you. So happy to have you with us. And personally, so happy to work with all these great colleagues in this project. Payam, make full screen the presentation. Be so kind for me. And this happens with F5.
Yeah, hold on.
What I will talk about today is actually I will try to make to sum up a little bit from a teacher's perspective. What happened? What was the situation before COVID, and what is the situation? How is the relation? How the teachers' relations with technology have changed during COVID, and how it happened, and what are the new standards that we have to deal with after this COVID time. Okay, the next, let's move on, Payam. We have to see the teachers, firstly, the teacher's relation with the cyber dimension of music before COVID. And of course, what I'm saying is the average picture that personally I was able to understand through my personal everyday work, through my colleagues in my institution, and of course, the experiences that I have with colleagues which I'm cooperating in the international level. So, distance teaching and performing were considered more as a field of research in experimental stage with a non-practical everyday use. This was actually what an average, allowed me to use this word, an average music teacher was having the feeling of the new technologies. Generally, a poor use of digital, online, cyber technology from the teachers. Knowledge, use, yes. That means that actually, I will dare to say that I'm teaching violoncello. So for teachers which were teaching classical instruments, it was like a devil to use this technology components and make teaching from distance. It was not well received, let's say. And that was combined with the lack of technological infrastructure and equipment at institutional and personal level. Well, it was definitely not a priority for the institutions to have such a technological infrastructure. Somebody could find this in technological infrastructure, as I said, mainly for research purposes and not for wide use. And of course, above that, the lack of training on technologies was definitely an issue. Next page. Yes, I dare to name the COVID time the shock revolution, because it was really a shock, not only for musicians, for all the world, but in the same time, we have to admit that the COVID time have initiated a kind of revolution. The need of an immediate recovery of the educational process through the web have forced all the teachers to have an active contact with the cyberspace. Even the most conservative teachers concerning their connection with technology, they were forced in a way to get used very, very fast on this new situation in order to be able to recover the educational process. The need to use as efficiently as possible technological means for distance teaching has created multiple crash tests for the teachers. That means suddenly, without having any former experience, the teachers have to deal with the special needs of a distance teaching process, which is not the case in the normal live teaching of an instrument. And of course, I have experienced a lot of calls at that time, and Zoom meetings, Viber calls between teachers, which have started to share immediately the needed information in order to be able to make this new way of teaching to work under these new circumstances. The institutions, that means in short words that under this pressure, all the teachers have in a way managed to get some knowledge about this mediums, about this technology, this concerning their connection with the cyberspace. They have collected some basic, at least, experience, which was not the thing before COVID. The institutions which didn't have any kind of infrastructures were forced to react immediately and were able to cover only the basic needs of the lessons. That means I can speak about my institution that before COVID, there were actually no infrastructure available for distance performance or distance teaching, etc. Of course, this new situation have forced my institution, as well as many, many others, all the institutions, to react also immediately and cover these basic needs. Next page, dear Payam. Of course, our main subject is the music performance, the cyber music performance, but I really believe concerning the music educational institutions, this teaching, distance teaching experience was the key for the mindset changing, which is definitely coming now after COVID. So in music, what happened in music performance? The sudden lack of public concerts have forced freelancers and all kinds of music performance artists to start performing online. I'm sure that everybody of us have experiences from such online concerts during the COVID time. It was very interesting to see day after day, the concerts became more and more available online. And because of the quarantine measures all over the world, there was suddenly a huge demand of online events. This quarantine that followed the COVID-19 time and the feeling of loneliness, or the need of the people to communicate with other people have created a demand of online events, because somehow it was for everybody a lot of free time and a lot of lonely time as well. A lot of younger performers had the opportunity to experiment with the new technological means. Personally, I had a big experience with former students of mine, or also students of mine, which have tried to get at the advantage of these new technologies, and of course, always the lack of normal concerts have forced them also to experiment with these new new dimensions of the concert experience that they could gain from through the web, the online concerts. Day after day, musicians and the audience became more familiar with the online music platforms, which were offering low latency possibilities. I'm sharing with you some examples which have been mentioned before, also through in other presentations. The next page. After the first shock, let's say, the orchestras and all kinds of chamber music ensembles and concert agencies, public or private, got used to this new situation and started using the web for their events. The audience got familiar with a new, very different experience of music performance than the traditional, let's say, concert hall event. And of course, this caused a new market need, and the market found a new way to offer new products, definitely. And I'm sure that we are experiencing that now already, and in the future it will be even more easy to see these new market products concerning the cyberspace and performances. The next page, please. So, and the final part of my presentation is the cyber online performance as an official new dimension of the instrumental teaching after the pandemic. Next page, please. So definitely the world is not the same as before the pandemic concerning music teaching and instrument teaching. Now it's in the opposite to the years before COVID. Now it's very clear that the teachers have to develop the awareness that follow the technological developments. It's a matter of lifelong learning process. Staying behind the developments means really staying behind in general. What I mean with this is that the teachers, the music instrument teachers, have from now on to take seriously into account that music performing is not only, does not have anymore this one dimension that we used to teach actually since the 19th century. Things have changed. Now, from now on, the students have to be able to get the knowledge to use the cyberspace for their performances, for their artistic expression, and also for teaching. That means for the teachers, they have to take into account that from now on, they are forced to follow the developments, the technological developments concerning these issues. At least the basic use of cyber and distance performance technology has to become a basic qualification of the new music teachers. In my opinion, try to look the future new teachers' positions, music instruments teachers' position. I believe that under the important qualifications that among the other important qualifications that a future music teachers needs to have and prove, it's also at least a basic qualification concerning the new technologies and the cyber performances. There is a need to develop new models covering fields such as foundations of digital and cyber interfaces applied to music performance, new aesthetic and distance performance. Of course, this is a kind of self-advertisement, allow me to say, because I'm very proud to say that these models are included in our project. We will, among other things that we will do in Musense, we will create a new model for these topics. Next page. And the final thing that I want to add in our discussions today is what is essential technical infrastructure after COVID for the music education institutions, which was not mentioned before COVID crisis. Next page. So I'm writing, as you see there, following the example of the recording studios. I was thinking, we have to go back in the past, in the early years, where the recording studios was something very new. Okay, and this time was not essential to have access to recording studios in music studies. But nowadays, a recording equipment is a basic equipment for each music institution, or even a studio, a special dedicated recording studio place. I believe that we are living in a way, history is repeating herself in a way that from now on, like it happens with the recording studios, we have to take into account that from now on, the music educational institutions, they have to have another dedicated place, which is equipped with distance and cyber performance rooms and equipment, such as high performance internet connections, low latency sound and picture transfer hardware and software, 360 cameras, multiple display and speakers, and of course, dedicated human resources operating the facilities and the equipment, and so exactly in the same way like it happens in the recording studios. I believe that these few things that I'm listing here that is something that in the strategic plans of the institutions have to be taken seriously into account for not the far future, but the coming years or even months. So thank you very much for your attention. I'm ready to answer any question.
Any more? No more questions, I guess. So thank you, Yannis. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
So I believe now we can continue with AC. There's Stefan is here. Stefan, if you would like to.
Yes, I'm happy to do so. Just let me start. I want to share screen if it's possible. Yes, I see it works. So, okay. I will just briefly talk a little bit about AC and then about our role in the Musense project. So AC, l'Association Européenne des Conservatoires, Académies de Musique et Musikhochschulen, it's the full name, is a voluntary association bringing together higher music education institutions with a particular focus on Europe, but not only in Europe. And to be a full AEC member, the institutions must provide music studies at least at bachelor level and be based in the so-called European higher education area, which is the Bologna, the states who signed the Bologna Declaration. No institution is forced to be an AEC member, but we are proud to say that almost all HMEIs that are at all eligible to be AEC members are actually an AEC member. These are currently 250 full members and almost 50 associated members, which are, as said, mostly HMEIs from outside Europe. AEC was founded in 1953, hence the English free name, and operates as a non-profit organization under Belgian law. We are active in 3 areas: artistic performance, learning and teaching, research, and innovation. And AEC sees itself a little bit as a think tank for new developments, a platform for the exchange of experiences, good practices, a trade fair of ideas. One of the tasks we are doing, because we are based in Brussels, is doing lobbying and advocacy at European level. And all in all, AEC can be seen as a future lab on how the further development of the higher music education sector. I think we can therefore for right claim to be the voice of music higher education in Europe. And this is indeed the slogan that you can find on the welcome page of our website. So AEC is involved in plenty of EU-funded projects and has regularly run its own large Creative Europe Partnership project for years. You can see here the full list of only of the AEC-run Creative Europe network projects. Besides, there are plenty of Creative Europe cooperation projects. We're involved in Erasmus projects and a little bit also in Horizon projects. But what you see here is a list of the AEC-run Creative Europe network projects in the last 20 years. And here, you can also, if you look at the very last 2 lines, SMS and the current project Artemis, you can see here about SMS, that digitization has been a key topic in these last 2 projects in music, Strengthening Music and Society, which ran out 1.5 years ago. It has been an own work, one of 8 work packages, so to say. And in the current project, it is part of the of one and an own working group at least. So strictly speaking, and I think I can now maybe leave the presentation if I can make it. It's not so easy. Okay. If we talk about AEC's role in Musense without slides now, it is, strictly speaking, AEC is only active in the areas of dissemination and communication here in this project, which makes absolutely sense because as an international network of music HEIs, we are somehow the perfect hub to bring music institutions from all across Europe into contact to each other, to showcase examples of good practice, and also to make the outcomes of the projects, such as Musense, known to the rest of the community. And even if you officially only contribute to project results 2, which are entitled Shared Online Repository and Musense institutional website, and a little bit also to PR4, you can also contribute to the achievements of project results that go far beyond dissemination and communication. And we have already done so. For example, I mean, we can share our expertise and our longstanding experiences to conduct qualitative empirical studies with the Musense Consortium, for example. And maybe even more important, maybe that we can make the connections from Musense to other digitization projects we are part of. And there are quite a number, in particular, Erasmus Plus cooperation projects that are dealing with digitization in general and the topics that have been mentioned by the presenters before me. Yes, and I think that's what we try to contribute to this project. But the core task is still to do dissemination and communication via our website, our newsletters, and by presenting or giving room to Musense presentations at our well-attended regularly events, etc. So to sum up, that's my impression, we are no longer at the very beginning of the project now, but we are still in the first year of the project. The first results we've seen have been very promising, and I think that with today's and tomorrow's meeting, the project is visibly taking shape. So to say, we can say has reached its flight altitude. And this is fascinating to see, and we are very much looking forward to sharing the project outcomes with whomever is interested and concerned. Thanks.
Thank you, Stefan. Thank you very much. Any questions? Right. Okay. Thank you, everyone. So I think we are done with our partners' presentations. So we can, as the final part of our meeting, I will give the floor to Yasin to share with us this presentation. Yasin.
Hello, everyone. This is Yasin Ozarsan, and I'm going to share a journey of our learning experiences. I'm a faculty at Yaşar University, and also I'm the director of Open and Distance Learning Research Center at Yaşar University. First of all, I would like to thank the organizer of this meeting, especially Paulo and Payam, who encouraged me to share our story. I appreciate their flexibility in allowing me to be a part of this project. I will start with giving a brief information about the research center, and then I will talk about immersive technologies and current states of this progress using in the music or in cyber performance. Let's begin. As you know, the world we live in is changing even than before, and what we teach and how we teach is also evolving rapidly. In recent years, universities have been experiencing a rapid, impactful changes, which are influenced by technological advancements and digitalization. Yaşar University established a research and application center for open and distance learning at the beginning of 2015. This center improves the open and distance learning and teaching settings, enriches the learning opportunities with educational technologies, executes and supports designing, administrating, assessing procedures of learning, environments, activities, and content. We prefer flexible, self-paced, mostly video-based interactive solutions. We describe this process as a journey of learning experience, which is about leveraging the use of emerging technologies aimed to improving operational and management efficiency for sustainable digital transformation. Through digitalization of learning experience, both instructors and the students are able to improve the skills to create more engaging and effective educational processes. Education's evolution requires a shift of administrative and educational technology to support new and evolving ways of teaching. The powerful change in the socioeconomic education system, change especially in higher education, such as education standards, quality, decentralization, and virtual independent learning. We need to identify strategic technologies, as you mentioned before my presentations, and learning trends to meet the needs of today's learners, faculties, and the staffs. For integrating digital transformation capabilities, universities leverage their delivering approaches, shaping their learning and development, delivery, and continuous improvement mechanisms. Virtual learning has established powerful informal networks. These are used by our students to share information and facilitate their connection. Virtual learning becomes an influencing process to facilitate collaborative sharing. Virtual education have increasingly challenged to decentralize our education and educational resources. For adapting effective decentralization of education requires the universities to develop specific roles to support process of decentralization. We have 7 experts in our research center. 4 of them is responsible for the production of these contents. 2 of them are technology development side, and 1 of them is providing support to our learners and faculties. Depending on our projects, some experts may involve us. We have capability to develop our own learning platforms and learning materials. Instructional strategy of us is learning-centered and activity-based. Our learning materials are delivered via web with a combination of quality print-based, audiovisual, interactive, and immersive solutions. We have 7 offices on our site, and as you see, we have a video production studio, production equipment, and softwares. These facilities support us for production of interactive and immersive multimedia content. Digital transformation strategy not only modified the educational delivery models of universities, but also has redefined students, educators, and researchers. The impactful, the radical changes in the macro environment accelerate universities to shape or restructure the process of building advantages using digitalization. The introduction of open source technologies has increased the attractiveness of the virtual learning. It radically has reduced the fixed cost of investing in virtual technologies or virtual technologies to stimulate or leverage virtual learning mechanism. We prefer open source solutions and get and customize these solutions for our needs. We prefer not to spend our time reinventing the wheels that the open source community has already perfected. For the next 5 years, we will focus on learning experience designs, which will be important for us, and for narrow learning and immersive learning. We plan some projects and design research about these subjects. We enjoy creating our own projects on open source infrastructure using available open source solutions, giving developers to flexibility and the freedom of these experiences, having the ability to interact with these communities. And good morning again. With the immersive experiences, the gap between what your life could be and what your life really is will be widened significantly. Cyber performance is the performance that utilizes internet technologies to bring remote performances together in real time for remote and or proximal audiences. In cyber performance, we are taking digital media and information technologies and pushing them to their limits with our creative experiments, discovering insight in the areas such as computer-mediated communication, social interaction, and impact of technology on human life. This is our contribution to a new renaissance in the creation, distribution, and sharing of information, knowledge, and creative work. And it's a move from industrial content production toward community-based interactivity. Using the internet to experiment and produce alternative performances, resulting in the creation of new forms. The time of this new form was specific, limited, and shared time, where performance and audience come together in the same moment at the experiment to experience the live event. As a technical guy, I think that music is an experience. The capabilities of immersive technologies provide a stimulating experience we have never done before. Streaming technologies has appeared in multiple forms and has expanded over the past decade, helping us to increase our interaction and immersion with music. Screens technologies visual image displays based on the reflection of light, or the virtual retinal display, which is directly onto the retina of our eyes, and the synaptic transmitting, which we are working on, the signals directly into our brains through the optic nerve, will change the world we see. The spatialized sound, a sound which is proceed to give the listeners the impression of a sound source within a 3D environment, will change the world we hear, and stimulating the senses of touch and motion in a remote operation or computer simulations, especially to reproduce the sensations that would be felt by a user, will change the world we feel. As a storytelling platform, immersive approaches serve as creative tools. So we have a capability to create different stories using these technologies. It is really difficult to explain for me in words this kind of technological change, these approaches. So let me share a video, short video, to show you where we are right now.
No sound, I'm afraid.
Is that a problem?
We cannot hear, no audio.
Let me share directly the video.
Still no sound, Yasin, I'm afraid. No audio. Can you hear me? Sorry, Yasin, there is no audio.
Sorry, I couldn't hear you.
There is no audio.
We cannot hear.
Let me try again.
Maybe you shared your video without audio. Unshare and share again.
Yeah, let me try it again. I'm so sorry.
No problem.
If you've ever seen this video, or this one, then you've experienced volumetric video. Imagine capturing a moment in time, like a performance or event, and being able to play it back from any angle. Volumetric video is the process of capturing live video in three-dimensional space and converting it into a 3D model. This model can then be placed within any 3D environment, whether it's rendered into a scene, or placed in virtual reality, or the metaverse, or even in augmented and mixed reality. At a consumer level, the method for capturing volumetric video could involve a single depth sensing camera. At a production level, this could involve numerous cameras centering on a subject. This could range anywhere from 40, 60, or even 100 cameras, or more, recording the visual RGB data from every angle. And an equal number of infrared cameras could be used to capture the depth by receiving point cloud data. The combination of all this data is what gives the video its volume. You may be familiar with modern devices equipped with LiDAR sensors that shoot rapid pulses of infrared laser light. By measuring how long it takes for the light to reflect back, these devices can generate a point cloud by calculating where these points are in 3D space. This makes things like 3D scanning not only possible, but incredibly easy to do. The front-facing cameras on some iPhone models also come with an infrared true depth camera, which builds a 3D model using a different mesh approach than LiDAR. And this is what some VTubers use, along with Apple's AR kit, for more accurate facial tracking. LiDAR has been around for over 50 years, mostly for scientific and government applications. But over time, depth sensing technology eventually became a tool for creative expression as well. In 2008, Radiohead released a music video for House of Cards that used only point cloud visualizations. And since 2010, the open source community, hackers, and developers have helped to open up Microsoft's Kinect hardware, allowing the infrared sensor to be accessible for all sorts of experimentation. And more recently, companies now provide software for anyone with a depth sensing device to create their own volumetric content. And volumetric video is still in its infancy, with use cases revolving around specific needs. One example is marketing and advertising. When it comes to complex camera movements, these projects would typically require the need for specialized equipment, carefully planned shots, and room for reshoots. But volumetric video could apply any type of camera movement, after it's been filmed, only one time. Another use for volumetric video could be for training and education, such as in healthcare, and it could open up a new way for doctors to remotely interact with their patients. But it's within the world of entertainment, where volumetric video has shown its growth and potential. This includes music videos and performances, short and feature films, and sports content. In October of 2021, Unity launched Metacast, a 3D engine for delivering real-time volumetric sports content. Audiences, coaches, trainers, or referees could choose to observe an entire event from any angle, even from an athlete's own point of view. However, the strength of volumetric video is not just in 3D capture alone. Once all of the data is stitched together, it also introduces the ability to manipulate the final model. Skeletons can be added, meshes can be adjusted, limbs can be repositioned, and the head and face can potentially react and respond to the user's interactions. Plus, capturing a standard T-pose can lead to even more possibilities. The magic is in how the data is utilized. Chelmiko's Easy Breezy music video demonstrates how volumetric video can playfully mix live human choreography with stylized 3D edits, and a single performance can be repurposed in unlimited ways. While the volumetric capturing for the music video was done by 4D Views and Crescent's 4D Studio, their live-streamed performance was captured at Canon's Kawasaki Volumetric Video Studio. And there are volumetric capture studios all over the world, which can lead to some interesting creative collaborations. In 2021, Coldplay and BTS released a music video for My Universe. It used volumetric captures, done by Dimension Studio in London, and captures from Jump Studio in South Korea. And Ingenuity Studios managed to compile everything together through the help of AMGI and numerous other studios.
So we have 11 dancing 3D characters per shot that have to be carefully rearranged and turned and organized. It was one of the biggest challenges I've ever worked on.
Not only that, Dimension Studio had also recorded inside of the Polymotion stage, a 4K mobile capture studio, created in partnership between Microsoft Mixed Reality Capture Studio, Dimension, and Mark Roberts Motion Control. Volumetric video could also become a useful tool in filmmaking. An entire scene could be shot, and then the framing, camera movement, and even lighting could later be decided upon in post-production. When Neil Blomkamp worked on his 2021 film, Demonic, he used volumetric video as a way to visually represent the world of a simulation. Over 300 4K cameras were used, relying purely on the video for the volumetric capture. Just like photogrammetry and videogrammetry, this meant that the process of extrapolating 3D information came from just the visual data alone. But this posed a challenge. Currently, the quality of volumetric capture isn't quite comparable to that of film or high-definition video, and creating a 3D scan strictly through a video-only approach made it more difficult to work with due to its glitchy nature. So Neil chose to lean fully into the volumetric look and used the glitch effects as part of the storytelling. As long as technology continues to advance and evolve, humans will always find new and creative ways of bringing the real world into the digital universe. Eventually, the virtual will become indistinguishable from reality. Wait, have we come full circle? Google's immersive light field video technology introduces an interactive way to freely view more than 180 degrees of volumetric video, and it also lets you change your perspective to peek behind objects or to see different angles in reflections. This type of immersion adds a new level of depth and parallax to video content. So, what does it really mean to give video volume? In a world full of CGI, 3D engines, virtual production, it's about preserving realism. Imagine being able to record your loved ones, their exact mannerisms, their subtle facial expressions, everything, in full 3D. Imagine exploring your childhood home in VR and watching your memories play out before you. Imagine experiencing a real concert, but from the point of view of anyone on the stage. Imagine the next generation of live streaming, where chat can pick any angle to view. Okay, maybe not a good idea. While volumetric video is just the tip of the iceberg, it will be exciting to see how this type of thinking will influence video content in the future. And with it, the creative spirit.
As you see, the potential of these technologies are completely changing the way the music both produced, both consumed and created. That are endless opportunities and challenges for the creation of cyber performance. It can provide someone with fully immersive music experience from their living room. It can be a tool for artists or experiment with and have the potential of fully immersive audiences in music. Well, this brings me to the end of my presentation. Thanks for listening. If you have any questions, I will be pleased to answer them.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Yasin. I think we have a question from Maria. Maria, if you can unmute yourself. I don't know. I saw you raising the hand. Maybe I was mistaken. Oh, you were clapping. Sorry. Okay.
Thank you.
Great. Any other questions, anyone? Okay. Well, we will continue tomorrow morning with some brainstorming anyway, hopefully. But thank you all for your contributions for today, for the presentations. Thank you for coming and listening to us. We'll continue tomorrow. If there are no more questions, I guess we can go ahead and end for the day. And
thank you very much.
Thank you everyone. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye.